that more votes can count. When you have an open political system where you have numerous candidates, on the first round, you go and vote for your number 1, 2, 3 choice. And if after the election polls close, no one gets a majority, then the bottom person who got the least votes drops off, and the second choice vote kicks in. And it keeps doing it until somebody gets a majority. You see, on that basis, huge number of votes count. And not only that, but it facilitates new starts. It facilitates more diversity of political candidates and issues. But you see, to try to get a discussion like that in soundbite journalism is pretty hard. But maybe someday, short from now, maybe someday, we will have really a deliberative democracy that will open up all these issues in a presidential election. Yeah.
Over here.
Yes, back here. Yes. I didn't hear the last sentence. Oh, she says, mention my Arab American background. The community can use a plug. First of all, the food is terrific. Second of all, you have great architecture, great proverbs, great literature, and like anybody else, they're proud of their ethnic background. It lends diversity and excitement to our tapestry and cultural life. And the Arabic language is really a thing of beauty. It's the only language I know of where it's 2,000 years ago or 1,500 years ago, if you heard it, it'd be exactly the way it is today. Because the Quran is the standard for Arabic language, where if you heard English 300 years ago, it would be hard. It would be hard to, because of the evolution of the language. So, is that enough?
I have a real question about the political efficacy of the pro-hemp deal with the Green Party. Being, I think it's great. We just had a hemp festival here in Seattle.
Yeah.
I think that's all cool. I think it's an important issue, but I think it really alienates the party or delegitimizes the party and yourself, your candidacy with mainstream voters. Because I can just hear them on KVI radio and all across the country, they just want to legalize dope. Even though that's not what you want to do, that's the way it will get heard. And I'd say we put that on the back burner for a while.
Burn KVI!
You wait.
Please let me accept that responsibility.
Right. All I'm saying is, it's something to consider in terms of political
No, I understand where you're coming from, but this is such a slam dunk issue. There are so many farm groups, state legislators, commissioners of agriculture, the former head of the CIA, Jim Woolsey, the International Paper Company. I mean, if we have to worry about leading that coalition, we better just close up shop. Sometimes you got to lead and sail against the wind, anyway. How about all the 51% of people stayed home? 900 million people. Can you imagine that? Stayed home, didn't vote. Now, presumably they have different motivations. Presumably they have different reasons for it. Some small, some big, some philosophical, some logistical, whatever. And I suppose a lot of it is just they don't think their vote counts. They don't think their vote matters. They think they will decide whatever they're going to decide anyway, and they think it's Tweedledum, Tweedledee politics. What I say is, in past elections, protesting by not voting has some philosophic basis to it. I happen to disagree with it, but it has a philosophic rationale to it. But in this election, you've got to go from protest to power and vote green. Because you take all the reasons why people don't vote, and they don't matter when you look at the Green Party platform and at the record of the Green Party candidates, who say what they mean and mean what they say and have a record to prove it. It would take a long time to exhaust my comments on the Federal Reserve. One thing, I don't like the idea that it is independent congressional appropriations and is funded by the banks, which it serves, as you know, as a central bank for the private bankers. And Alan Greenspan is their chosen designee. But I have to beg off on this because when you ask questions of that kind of complexity, it's just impossible to, in the remaining, to give any answers to any of the other questions. But
over here.
Have you read Secrets of the Temple by William Greider? That's a very good book. You know, he's a former Washington Post correspondent, and now he's a correspondent for The Nation. Give it a shot. It's out in paperback.
Over here.
What part do you want here? Yeah, go ahead. What issue do you want? Yeah. No, that's not the 12th amendment. No, it's like the 24th. It's the most recent amendment. It was proposed by James Madison. And it just stood on the shelf there with a few states having ratified it for almost 200 years, and it went through. But you know what? All it says is that if Congress raises their own pay, it cannot go into effect until after the next election. And so they are raising their pay $4,200. It went through the House, and your two senators are probably going to vote for it within the next month. And it doesn't kick in until until after the next election, which is November. It's what? Unconstitutional to what?
I thought the Congress had ruled it unconstitutional.
No, Congress can't rule any amendment unconstitutional. No. And it's a very modest reform. It basically allows you to judge the pay grab of Congress in the next election before it kicks in. Trouble is, both parties never talk about it. They don't have public hearings about it. They don't even debate it on the floor. It's a little provision in a giant appropriations bill for the Treasury Department and the Post Office. It's again, stealth legislation. But somehow they have trouble raising the minimum wage for millions of American workers.